Rejoice! Club football is back, and with it, it brings some exciting derbies. Down in North London, there's a battle at the top of the league as Spurs take on Arsenal. Who'd have thought we'd be saying that 12 months ago? Up in Manchester, we've got the battle of the follically challenged as Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United travel to the Etihad to take on Pep's Manchester City. Elsewhere, Graham Potter takes charge of his first league game for Chelsea. Newcastle will probably draw another game, and Nottingham Forest will probably concede 2 goals again as they play Leicester. Which would probably disappoint Brendan Rodgers as he does his best impression of a Premier League manager till he gets his inevitable extended holiday and compensation pay. Also, we have our regular FPL segment, and that's today's halftime team talk. On today's podcast, we've got Fryer
Hello there.
and Tom.
Hello.
Bit of a limited roster today, but we shall persevere. So let's start talking first about North London derby, Arsenal versus Spurs. Battle for top place.
Yeah, well, you know I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm excited for this one.
Well, I'm excited to watch it, to be honest. It should be a good game. They're both currently starting first and second. Whoever wins goes top. Spurs still, along with City, the only unbeaten team in the league. Do you think they can carry that on?
Yeah,
Well, it's
What's up?
the first time for a while I think that Arsenal and Spurs are pretty much on an even keel. So it'll be nice. It'll be a proper North London derby where there's something to play for, and there really is something. It's just to prove that who's the best this season so far. So it's quite exciting to watch. Usually it's just one's better, so much better than the other every season, and it's
Yeah.
just a game you watch because it's just it's a derby. But it's great when derbies have something more. No, actually, when the derbies, the two teams are nearly equal and they have something merit to play for, and not just pride. So they've got merit and pride in this one, I think.
I mean, I think last year, didn't they have a... I think in May they played, didn't they? And it was they were playing for top 4. And it was at Spurs this time, and Spurs won 3-0. So there was something to play for that in that
Course.
game. But Spurs have got a shocking record at the Emirates. The last one in the league in 2010 at the Emirates.
Wow, I don't think the Emirates is that old.
Well, I mean, it might not be the Emirates, it could be, but at Arsenal, yeah.
No. I'm not disputing it. It's just like, wow, if the Emirates was around in 2010, it's
Time
gone
goes
so
fast.
quickly,
Time goes
So-
fast.
Yeah,
Who do we think's going to win then?
Arsenal.
I mean, looking at the previous 5 games at Arsenal have won 4 out of the last 5. So I mean, can't really go against Arsenal, to be honest. I mean, I know they've got Conte
Yeah.
now, but still, like if I was a betting man, which I am, I would bet on Arsenal.
Yeah, I just think Arsenal just look like the better team still. Anyway, obviously they both started off really well, but I don't know. You just see like some Spurs sometimes. Some of the games in like the Champions League, and I don't know. They just seem a bit like they're just flip floppy a little bit, even
Yeah, but
against
then
Leicester. Because
teams like that.
well, you think about but if you think about Leicester though, even Leicester managed to
At
get
half
2
time,
past
they
them.
weren't
and they're
happy, were
bottom
they,
them.
Spurs fans?
And you have Son, Super Son, come off the
Back
bench.
in form now. Scored 3
Yeah.
goals in his last 3 games.
So if you take Son out of the equation, Spurs scrape that game by 1 goal.
Well, yeah.
So it's against bottom of the table, it's not really a good performance. But obviously, I again, I know I'm going to sound like an Arsenal fan, but
No,
I just
agree.
think they look so
Arsenal
good.
win. Arsenal.
They look so good.
I don't think there's many. Go on, Tom. I was going to change.
So sorry, I was going to say, yeah, I say Arsenal all the way, but it's going to be interesting to see how Conte treats this as a derby. I think he'll take it more seriously. Maybe he'll go more defensive. So
Well,
maybe it'll
doesn't
be
take
a
much,
low.
does it?
No, it doesn't. But he'll probably close even more, close up even more. Maybe it'll just be an Arsenal 1-0. If not, it'll be just a 0-0. hopefully an exciting
I
0-0.
think like I'm just looking at the last 5 games at Arsenal, and there's 2, 6, 8. There's like 15 goals in the last 5 games, so it should
It's one of
hopefully
those
be a bit of a
games.
thriller. Well, there's usually
Yeah,
a
it is
red
one of
card or two, isn't there, as well?
yeah, yeah. It's one of those games you can't really. I mean, like obviously the bookies have their favourites, and form tends to go out the window in this
Yeah.
game for some reason. Um, on paper, Arsenal should win, but because they're at home, they're in good form. But if Son's going to just come on and just score a hat trick, then there's
Well,
not much many teams could do about
does he start Son, do you think?
that. I think it'd be a bit silly not to,
You've got
'cause,
to,
again,
haven't
especially how they played against Leicester. Um, in that first half, they were struggling.
you? Oh,
Um,
mic went a bit.
Kane kind of drops. Is what, sorry?
Your mic went a bit then, but you're back.
Because they were struggling in the middle. So Kane or Son kind of drop off each other, don't they?
Yeah.
To get that ball in the middle, hold it up, and play it off, and things like that. So, yeah, I think it'd be silly not to, but I think he's going to be the one to watch. I think for that game.
Just going back to the point you made before about them not looking great, like it kind of like in the past would say that's a sign of a championship winning team, like because they're up there, so they can't really grumble. But they have not. Have they had like what's their most convincing game? Was it the Leicester game? And even that was
Well,
only
no,
really one half.
yeah, I wouldn't even say. Wouldn't even say that. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, the Leicester game wasn't really that convincing either. Um, just trying to think back to the start of the season. I think they had
They
because I
beat
mean they
Fulham
beat
2-1. They
they
beat
won. They drew with West Ham.
yeah.
I think the Forest was probably their best performance.
Even then, that
Um,
was only 2-0. They
yeah,
beat Wolves 1-0. They drew with Chelsea 2-2. Oh, they beat Southampton 4-1 after going 1-0 down.
yeah, that was the first game of the season, wasn't it? Their first game of the season is always a bit of an
Yeah,
anomaly, aren't they? So,
yeah.
uh, yeah. Well, yeah, as you say, when you scrape wins when you're playing bad, that's the
Yeah.
sign of like a
I
champion
don't think any team
team, isn't it? But
have got that big of injuries. I have a quick glance. I think Moura's missing for Spurs, but he doesn't really play. Emil Smith has Smith Rowe been playing? Because I saw he got ruled out today.
I don't think he has. Let me
No, I
just
don't think he
check.
has either. But yeah, I saw he got
Because
ruled out today. Partey is missing, but apparently, is a doubt, but apparently he might make it in time. And then I saw Al Nenny was a doubt, but I don't think he's been playing that much. Martin Odegaard is back. I think he missed their last game, so that's a big.
yeah, he missed the last game.
Is a big
Smith Rowe's groin injury expected back in the new year. So
yeah, he's out for a while.
I ask, is Odegaard actually back? Because when I did my fantasy team before, they were like 50 to 75% sure. Is he going to be back?
I saw he wasn't a doubt. They said he was back.
Really?
yeah, FPL always keep people at 75% when they first coming back. I think unless literally the manager comes out and says
Yeah.
he's playing. So
Right, I
when
need
they're
to
always
change my
gonna
team then.
Well, if I don't know where Fell's got the certain he's coming back from, but it's just if you're coming back from injury, they always have him on yellow. It's just like a.
I don't mean he's starting. I just mean I know he's not injured. Apparently, I just seen.
That's normally the worry, yeah.
I just seen like FPL's different. Obviously, like 75% might be like 75% chance to play because he may not be wrist or whatever. But I saw that he wasn't an injury doubt. This was on. I think it was on Sky Sports.
Yeah, on the FPL, yeah, it's just like a standard 75%. They don't have anything other than 50 and 75. So
Yeah. Should we move on to Bournemouth, Brentford? Obviously, there's only 3 of us today, so we are will just brush over some of the lesser in inverted commas teams, but yeah, we just don't have the manpower to carry the conversation today. Last time out, Bournemouth got a good result against Newcastle, 1-1 at St James's Park. Obviously, they've still got Gary O'Neill in charge, caretaker manager. He's come out this week and said that he doesn't really know what's happening. I saw that the takeover was going to be finalised this week. They think that's going to be done at some point after this game. But yeah, they seem to have done well since he took over. I think he's still unbeaten. He's got 2 draws and a win. But yeah, I can't really see anything but a Brentford win, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think Brentford are expected to win really, um, but again, it's. I mean, his first three games have been Wolves, Forest, and Newcastle in it, so it's not like those games were like write-offs, if you know what I mean. Like, like you expected to,
Yeah,
like, I mean, Bournemouth are expected to maybe do something against each of them, and I think Forest, they went 2-0 down as well, so it was a good good showing that they're able to come back from being 2 goals down. But yeah, I don't know. I personally think Brentford will win, but I'm
I
basing
do.
that really. Yeah, I'm only basing that really on just their team.
The thing that we
I
need
mean,
to keep in mind as well is some of these teams have not played for a while. I think Brentford. They did play their last game. They lost 3-0 against Arsenal, didn't they, at home?
yeah,
There's not much to go on in the head-to-head. They've played each other 5 times since 2012, so I don't think you can really read too much into that. Do we think what about Ivan Toney? Like he's obviously gone off with England this week. Do you think he'll be a bit frustrated and he'll take it out on Bournemouth that he didn't play?
um,
It's.
oh,
Right.
Tom.
Oh, no, I was going to say it's. Hope. Well, I'd like to think he's just a professional, and he'll just go into the Brentford team, and I think he'll try and prove why he should be in the England team. I think he'll be more motivated. He'll be more motivated, and he'll try and score more goals, try and play well, and try to prove why he should be in the World Cup
Yeah,
team.
should be starting.
Um, he should be, yeah, starting. He's done so well for Brentford, but it's just an unattractive club, isn't it? So it's that classic thing with the England squad. They seem to be chosen from the more successful clubs higher up the pitch, up the league.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't choose anyone from Brentford if they're on form because they're still scoring against
No,
the
no, they're
same
doing well.
teams that.
Currently sat in ninth
Yeah,
in the league as well. So just before we
exactly. Like
go
having
on, sorry.
Tony scoring against the same teams Harry Kane scores against.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
anything, he's playing in a weak, not a weaker, but yeah, he
He's
is. He's
getting
playing
less
in the weaker
service,
team than
isn't
Harry.
he?
Yeah, less service. So if you are doing well in the Premier League, regardless what team you're in, it should be fine. It should be based on form in the Premier League. You're doing well in the Premier League. It's picked.
Just before we move on, did we see that tweet after the Arsenal Brentford game from Gabriel?
I
So
didn't.
so when Brentford came up and they played Arsenal and they beat them 3-0, Ivan Toney tweeted,
Oh yeah,
just had a kickabout with my mates or something. What was it? Just had a kickabout in the park with my mates or something like that. And then when Arsenal won the other day 3-0, Gabriel tweeted the same thing. So there's been like a bit of like sour grapes and stuff on Twitter. I don't really see anything wrong with that, to be honest.
yeah. It's just people being snowflakes in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, those damn snowflakes.
Yeah. Right. Next game, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Chelsea. Graham Potter's first game in the league. Um, just come off. Chelsea's last game was that West Ham game with the VAR decision, so they've had a bit of a break, like I was saying before. Uh, doesn't make for good reading for Palace. They've won one of the last 5 games at home against Chelsea and lost the other 4. The last win came in October 2017, and Chelsea have actually won 6 out of the last 7 times they've been to Selhurst Park. So can only really see one result here, but it's all up in the air. It's got a new manager. Don't know what's going to happen, do we?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's a bit like it's a bit of a 50-50 because you get a new manager. Some teams have that like new manager sort of boost, and like the first couple of games with them, everyone sticks to the plan, puts 110% in, and plays really well. But it could swing the other way for Palace, though. This could be the perfect time to play him because obviously, new manager, new system, etc., things like that. This might be the perfect time to get a win against them. Um, yeah, again, on paper, you're expecting Chelsea to just roll over them, really, even with just the manpower they've got. But again, looking at like their last 3 fixtures in particular, um, if they haven't been able to keep a clean sheet, considering again they played Leicester, lost to Southampton, and played West Ham, who all of them you can say aren't in the best form
No.
on the bottom end of the table. Not that Palace is in any better form, but
No.
you know,
You kind of.
if you're scoring against, if you concede into teams like that, I don't see why Palace don't go here and just give them a good go.
I kind of feel like Palace, we've kind of got a false sense about them. Like, I feel like they're higher in the table than they actually are. Like, they're currently sat 15th, but I feel like they've had a better start than that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, the kind of the way that they've played, you wouldn't think they are where they are. But I think this will be a good game. I think it could go either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Zaha's in good form. He's got 4 goals in his last 5 games. He's always a threat, but it's just that having the new manager is just that's what makes it interesting.
You think about it, Patrick Vieira has his players. He knows who they are. Yes, they went to international and other stuff that's happened recently. Graham Potter's just been initiated as a Chelsea manager. He hasn't really had time with all the squad yet. They've been off doing international stuff. So I can see Crystal Palace having the advantage in that way because Potter hasn't really cemented his philosophy yet.
They've been away, haven't they?
It'll be in a way. I mean, of course, it takes a lot longer to cement a philosophy, but imagine how much he's had actually in contact with his team. So I don't know how that will play into the game because the Chelsea, if you're a good player, you're a good player. You're a good team, you're a good team. But I think Patrick Vieira is a decent manager, and he can. I think Crystal Palace have got this. I think they'll either draw or win this one because Chelsea have easily not had time with their manager. I don't think.
How many?
Yeah, well, if you look at just in a comparison, if you look at Ten Hag, didn't United lose their first game?
Lost their first 3.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So if you look how long it's taken Eric Ten Hag to get that team in order and playing how he wants them to play, again, I wouldn't put Graham Potter above him. I'm not saying I'm trying to compare him because obviously they're two different. I mean, I am trying to compare him, but I mean, yeah, it's not that. Yeah, luckily, they are two different managers and two different teams. What I'm trying to say is that when that new manager comes in, it's not always guaranteed it's just going to work straight away. And you might lose your first 3 games and get all that pressure added on. So I think Palace will definitely be up for it.
A bit controversial from Tom as well there, saying I definitely think Palace will win, but we'll see.
It's not that controversial.
When you consider how many games Chelsea have won there in like the last 9 years or so, it is a bit controversial.
It's
Put your money where the mouth is.
I'm not going to put any money on where my mouth is because I'm not going to do that. But still, I say Crystal Palace are going to either draw or win it. That's what's going to do. That's what's going to happen. Else you won't win, basically.
Fair shout.
Moving on, Fulham versus Newcastle next. Newcastle got quite a good record at Craven Cottage. They've actually won on the last 2 visits there. Got an aggregate score of 6-0, winning 4 and 2-0 respectively. But Fulham have started well this season. They're currently sat in 6th with 10 points. Newcastle, I was again going back to the league table. I was quite surprised. They're 17th.
Oh.
Well, yeah. They haven't. Have they won a game yet? They won the first game.
Their last 5 games. Last 6 games, they've drawn 5, lost 1.
So they haven't lost loads.
No,
yeah, that's the thing.
They're still sat in 17th. You can go the season unbeaten and get 38 points and get relegated. So.
Of course, yeah. I'd love one team to do that one year. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Go down unbeaten.
Yeah, Everton will do that soon, don't we? Yeah, no. Do you know what? I fancy Fulham for this personally.
Especially at home.
Yeah, they're at home. Newcastle just don't look to be getting any better to me. Like every time I've watched them, it's just like, no, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what they're missing. It's just, I can't. I don't know if it's like a lack of creativity or something, but it's just they have the ball and they just don't know what to do with it.
Like,
that's the impression I get every time I watch.
Is St. Maximin, and why does he always seem to be as if like he's just running injured all the time? That's how he always.
He's a glass cannon, isn't he? Yeah.
Completely.
Well, it's because again, I think it's because they're relying on him too much. It's the same with most of the teams that are on like that level. When you've got that one player, and you rely on him all the time and he's doing all the running and he's all the rest of it, he's going to more risk of getting
True.
injured, isn't it? But
They're always looking for him, aren't they, when they've got the ball?
yeah, it's just I don't know. I think Fulham will win personally. I think Mitrovic will score.
How
Oh
long?
no.
How long do we give this then, if their form stays the same before Eddie Howe starts to be questioned? Because it hasn't happened yet, has it?
The thing is, he's not losing, so he can justify saying, "Well, I'm not losing." So
That doesn't justify anything, though, does it? Like I said, you can still
well,
get bang it.
he can, but he's not losing. It's just, ugh.
Newcastle have got
I,
aspirations of being like the best of the rest, haven't they? Like outside the top 5, 6, they want to be there.
Yeah, I think that's a good 2, 3 years off though. I don't think they're silly enough to think that that's now. I think they'll give him. I think they'll give him as long as he's middle table, maybe like a half decent cup run. I think that'll be fine. I think that's all they're expecting at the minute. They need to build up slowly. There's no point in getting rid of him yet. They need to build up their team and yeah. So I think he's all right at the minute. I think if it gets to Christmas and they're still where they are, um, then yeah, he might be in a bit of trouble. But actually, yeah, we got the World Cup, haven't we? I keep forgetting about the World Cup.
Oh, yeah,
I can
it's in a
see,
couple of weeks.
I see Eddie Howe being the guy who they keep on for a year or two just to solidify Newcastle, and then they sack him off and get the glamorous manager,
Yeah.
like the Conte Mancini type, just to
Ancelotti,
elevate
he'll
them.
stay.
Ancelotti, yeah, and someone like that, and that's when they'll that's when they'll like buy the big players and then push for the Champions League, even the league title, finishing second, finishing first, whatever.
And just to
But
let you
yeah,
know
Eddie
as
Howe's.
well. Oh, go on, sorry.
No, that's it. I'm done.
Uh, Isaac, Alexander Isaac. How the hell do you say his name? Isaac, whatever.
Yeah, it's Isaac.
He's injured as well for this game.
Ooh.
Yeah, so yeah,
Well,
I'm
Saint
going to play.
Maximan. If Saint Maximan is playing, something will happen. I really like him as a player. He's great.
Yeah, he'll get injured probably. That'll be
Probably, yeah.
something that happens.
He's not.
Oh, go on.
He's not in the Premier League team, so I haven't got that much faith in
Yeah,
him.
it's
So
all right. He can be injured.
yeah.
Whatever. Moving on. Next game, Liverpool, Brighton, at Anfield. Liverpool have not played. This will be their first game in 18 days since they beat Ajax. So I don't really know what to expect, to be honest. And then on the other side as well, it's also De Zerbi's first game for Brighton. I don't really know a whole lot about him. But yeah, we usually do quite well against Brighton. We won the last, well, before last season's game where we drew, we won the last 3 on the trot at Anfield. Do you remember last season's game at Anfield, Tom?
Remind me.
We were
There's
2
been
0
a
up.
lot of football.
We were 2 0 up.
Yeah.
Completely in control, and then conceded like 2 goals at the end, and we were just like,
That's right. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
yeah.
It's just that Liverpool do that sometimes. It's just like a juggernaut. They're runaway train, and they just beat down teams. But sometimes they just shock you like that.
Yeah. Another thing as well that's quite big is, I know a lot of people have moaned. I've tried not to, but a lot of people have moaned about injuries because everyone gets them. But bar Andy Robertson now, that little break we've had, everyone is back now. So there's no injuries bar Andy Robertson.
Well, there's no excuses now, so Liverpool should be at full fitness, and hopefully there'll be that chemistry there that they need to find in the front three. Because the loss of Mane is it's been bigger than anticipated. I thought it'll be a little shock, but it's just thrown things off
Have you
because
seen
that front three.
that Mane has been getting like pelters from the Bayern fans?
Has he?
Yeah, like
haven't
they've turned
followed
on him
that, no.
already.
Really? How can he turn on a man like that? He's such a nice man.
Yeah.
They're,
he should
they're,
come
they're,
back.
they're horrible. Yeah, he should come back. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, he needs to start playing and starting Nunes for me, because he needs to start bedding in. He scored a good goal against Iran for Uruguay the other day, good header. But yeah, hopefully now that the actual full strength team is there, I think Kanate is missed massively, and I don't think he will be ready. But he is back in full training, which is a good sign. But Yeah, now that there's full strength squad to pick from, I think he needs to be playing so that everyone can learn each other's game. Like, he needs to learn our game, we need to learn his, and the only way that's going to happen is in games. So yeah, hopefully he starting from now on.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add to that, to be honest. It's just more FPL my stuff, to be honest with you, regarding this game. I think it's just going to be an easy Liverpool win, but
Well, you say that. How like do you two know anything about Roberto De Zerbi?
Never
no,
heard of him before in my life.
no. I think this is knowledge that like Sam or Johnson would have of like where he's been and stuff. But no, not for me. I've never heard of him.
Well, he obviously Italian. They've got him from Shakhtar Donetsk, but he'd only been there a year.
He's got a really nice beard. I'll just Google him. There we go. Really
He
nice
should do
beard.
well. He should do well.
The
He
beard
was
with
at
it.
Sassuolo before that for 3 years. Did quite well.
That's right,
Uh,
Sassuolo. Sassuolo used to play a style of football that was very exciting, um, sort of scattergun. Like the defense was useless, but they would score more than the opponents. I don't know if they bring that to Brighton, but that's what Sassuolo. They
I
were
think
quite a popular team in Italy.
that's why they've
Yeah, they were quite a popular team in Italy for a while because they were just different at all. I know Serie A has turned less defensive, it's more attacking now. But Sassuolo
yeah,
were
that
nuts
pioneers.
at one time. Yeah,
I don't think they were promoted that long ago to Serie A.
no, they weren't, and they came up and they were just an exciting team that people like to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, he got them
yeah.
to eighth both seasons that he was there, so that's not to be sniffed at, really.
We can see. I think Brighton will actually be pretty attacking.
Well,
If
let's just
that's
hope
how
it
his
doesn't. Let's hope it
some
doesn't
mentality
gel
is.
until a couple of weeks down the
I
road.
think if the way Sassuolo were, the back will probably be exposed, and maybe Liverpool will get a few in, and then he'll have to. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, if Brighton target Trent, then they might score. So
Depends if Henderson plays. Moving on swiftly. Southampton Everton. Your last one, Fryer. Everton just fresh off their first win. That 1-0 home win against West Ham. But it's not been a happy hunting ground for them, St Mary's. Southampton have won 5 of their last 6 games at home to Everton. What do we think is going to happen here, Fryer?
I was just going to say I hate playing Southampton. We just always seem to just we don't turn up to these games for some reason, and like we get Danny Ings back in form and things like that. I don't know. It's one of them. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think it'll be a close game. We don't have any injuries that I'm aware of, so
You have Patterson, who's out for 5 weeks.
Oh, Patterson. Yeah, sorry.
And
Yeah,
Pickford's
I
back,
was
though,
thinking.
isn't he?
Yeah, Pickford's back. That was it.
Which
Patterson
is
was
a
out.
big one.
Yeah, he's been playing really well.
Who plays instead of Patterson? Tom Davis.
Don't. Why do you have to? Why? Why did
Tom Davis. Tom Davis. Tom Davis.
You got that Trent comment in, so I had to get Tom Davis in. Do you think they should do a
Yeah,
sitcom with Trent and Davis?
But I know Tom Davis would be better dressed. So,
They just cut each other's hair.
but in all seriousness, I think we might be able to get a win. Well, I know I'm being
more
pessimistic
now.
here. I know I'm not trying to be. Not trying to be too pessimistic.
The thing with Southampton is they've looked good at times this year, especially against Chelsea. Their last game, as I can see from my notes here, where I've written Aston Villa 1, Aston Villa 0. That was that really boring game on the Friday, where they showed Aston Villa too much respect and they just didn't really try for some reason. But bar that, they've looked quite good, Southampton. So it's going to be a tough game, I think.
It is going to be a tough game for us. I like to think that we'll get a win. I think we've got enough going forward. I think Calvert-Lewin might actually be on the bench for this game.
Whoa.
I think he's coming. I think he's back from injury, but I think it's lack of fitness at the minute that he wouldn't start. So I could see him coming on maybe 70th minute, something like that for Mopai. Um, but yeah, no, it's a tough one to call because it's just like it could be one of those games where it's really close. You'll get a few half chances, and let's say I don't know, we get a goal, and then it's one of those games where just like Ward Prowse will just step up for a
Yeah.
free kick and just
It'll be
smash
really
it in.
tight, and then it'll just
Yeah, and then he just scores an absolute worldie from nowhere, and it's like right, okay, now we're dealing with this. Um, yeah, I think we've got enough in the middle of the park to maybe control the game a bit more than what we have done in the past. So yeah, I'm confident we should get something from it, whether it's a draw or a win. But
yeah.
I think I'd be disappointed if we lose. But if we watch the game and see how we play, and again, if it's one of those where we've held the ball, we've not really created much, and then it is like someone like a Ward Prowse worldie that wins it for him, then it's just something for us to work on really because I think we've got enough. We should be winning these types of games now. But going down to Southampton's never an easy game.
No, it's not. And like as an outsider looking in, like Lampard was kind of dropped in at the deep end last season. He's come out just, and now like he's got his own team. I think now you need to start seeing some sort of results, some sort of style of football. Like now is the time when that should like start happening.
Yeah, well, I think he's slowly getting there now. I'm glad we've given him time, and I know there's way too many people would like demanding him out and things like that. But Nana and
To be fair
just
though,
game
you
should
shouldn't
be
you
enough. I
shouldn't have
think.
been where you were last season. Like you just shouldn't have been.
No, I know, but like we've had this conversation off, in chats and stuff. I'm of the
Off
opinion
air.
yeah, it was all Ancelotti's fault that. So we won't go into that now. But yeah, just a guy and Arna in the middle. I think should be enough. I'm not sure if Decore's going to be back as well.
Wasn't he back last week? I think he was on the bench, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on the bench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so surely he will be playing.
that's what I mean. We're
He
slowly
came on,
building
did
up
he,
our bench
actually.
now.
I think he came on because I
I
remember
think he
thinking,
did.
bloody hell, I didn't
Yeah,
realise he was still there.
yeah, he did. I think it was for Arna as well. Was it? Oh, I'm trying to think now. Oh, these Premier League games have been so long ago.
When he
I
came
should have
on,
watched them before coming on.
he reminded I remember because he's big, isn't he? And he's like kind of like gangly. He's got long arms, and he just reminded me of Balassi. And do you remember when you had Balassi? He was so good for Everton.
Yeah.
Where did he end up going?
I can't remember. It's we've had some random play. I was talking the other day to someone. I was just like, "Oh, do you remember that time we had Eto?"
Oh yeah,
This is
wow.
just so random. I had him for like 6 months or something. It was so weird.
Wow,
Um,
Sammy Leto was there. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, bloody hell.
It's crazy that.
yeah,
So from Everton, Balassi. So he was there 5 years.
yeah,
What?
yeah,
5 years and
good
he only had
stuff.
29 appearances.
Oh, that's not right, is it?
That's what it says on Wikipedia. 2016 to 21, 29 appearances. That's crazy. And then
It's not
in
right, surely.
oh
Sure, I
sorry sorry
remember
sorry, sorry.
seeing.
No. So he was there as an Everton player 2016 to 21, but in 2018 to
Uh,
2019 he went to Aston Villa and played
yeah.
21 games. Then he went to Anderlecht in 2019. Then he went to Sporting Lisbon in 2020. Then he went to Middlesbrough in 2021. And now he's at Kaykur Rizespor in Turkey.
Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right, moving on. Anyone else think this is a bit of an underwhelming game to have on the telly at 5:30? But it's West Ham versus Wolves. Like, I feel like the Manchester Derby would have been perfect to be at this time.
Well, it's the teams that begin with W Derby. I'm not going to say with it, it's like, but there's nothing fun. It's nothing with it. It's just, well, sorry to all the West Ham and Wolverhampton fans that are listening to us, because obviously you are. Yeah, it's just one of those neutral games that probably be last on match of the day unless it's a 6-4. Okay,
I was just about to say Wolves have got 6 points, West Ham have got 4. That's crazy.
Hey,
You couldn't have the Manchester Derby on any day but a Sunday, though.
Well, unless you had it Saturday early. I
I
suppose
would
it's
have
all to
to.
do with policing, isn't it, and drink and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the
Can't have
rest of
it
it.
too
And
late. But yeah. So the main point of this for me, really, I feel like no offense to Wolves, but they're kind of just like a bit of a nothing team this season. Like surprise you every so often and get a good result, but then they just seem to get rolled over every week. Like that City game last week, they just gave up, didn't they? Didn't even try by the looks of it. But West Ham, obviously, they finished 7th last year, 8th, got in the Europa Conference League, and now they're sat 18th. Like there's real pressure on David Moyes right now.
yeah, I think they've just had a poor start. I can't really put my finger on it. It's you could maybe say it was playing those extra games last season. You tend to there is normally a trend, isn't there, where a team like West Ham will qualify for European football, like Leicester did, and then they play those extra games, and then they tend to fall off after that because they've just I don't know. I don't know if they've just been playing too many games, but they've just started really poor. Um,
You
and
can't even
Wolves,
say that it's like a lack of motivation either, because the Conference League is clearly not where they want to be. They were in the Europa League last season, and they kind of have tumbled a bit, or dropped down the one or two places last season. And they obviously want to. I think at one point when they got that Europa League spot, I think they weren't they fourth till like the last 3 games.
yeah,
Like they came very close to getting in the Champions League. I think that was the season when we came third, when Alisson scored that header, and I couldn't. I thought West Ham were going to get it.
yeah. I think they deserved it because they played so well last season. But um, yeah, and again, it's just one of them, innit? It's just you can't really put your finger on why they're not playing as well as they have been. And I was just going to say, Wolves. I agree with you 100%. They're just like a. I mean, if you take away the City game, the Wolves played that last game against City, they've had 4 clean sheets out of one, two, three. Out of 6 games, they've had 4 clean sheets and only conceded. Let's have a look. Four goals.
How many have they scored?
So, yeah, and then I was just going to say, so you look at that and you think, all right, they must be quite like a compact team, and then you look how many they've scored in those games, and it's 3.
Yeah. So that's
So it's
really the
just
problem where the problem
six
lies for
games,
them.
3 goals. Yeah, it's just you can defend well, but if you're not going to score, you're not going to get points. So
I
um,
think Jimenez is not the same player as before. Like obviously understandable, but he has come back from that head injury and he's not been banging him in the way he used to.
no, and Who's that other player they've got? I can never pronounce his name. The other striker they've got. They brought him in. Can't remember if it was last season or the season before.
What is he, a striker or?
Yeah, he's a striker. Um, is he like South Korean?
Oh, okay. Is it um Hee Chan
No.
Wang? Huang.
Huang Hee Chan. That's it. Yeah, like I don't know why I expected like loads from him. I don't know if it's just because you see other South Korean players and they just like somehow
He
seem to
he
do just
did.
really well.
He was really really good for them. I feel like if it wasn't last season, it was season before. But I don't know. He's just not progressed, has he? Obviously, they've got
No.
Diego Costa now, who could probably play that game. So we'll see. Should be a bit more eventful, at least, with him on the pitch, even if
Oh,
it's
I
not
completely
goals
forgot
he
about
brings.
that actually.
I
See,
don't know
that's a perfect player for Wolves. That just someone at the front who's gonna like just bully the defenders, like
how much
hold up that
running is he
ball.
going to be doing though at 34.
No, that's the thing. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be running that much. But that's what I mean. He's gonna hold up the ball. He's gonna just use his strength. Um, I think that might be what they need to maybe just move at the pitch a little bit. Um,
Well, maybe
yeah,
we'll
I
see.
can't. I don't know. Yeah, I can't even. I think either of these two could win that game. To be honest.
Do we? How long do we give? Because obviously this is David,
Don't,
not David
don't
Moyes'
say it.
What?
Don't say it. David Moyes is fine.
No, I know, but like, this is obviously not his first tenure at West Ham, and the West Ham fans kind of chased him out of the club last time he was there. Has he got enough in the bank, do you think, to warrant like still being there or like not getting the criticism?
I think so. It's He's fine. He's fine. It's just again, it's just run a bad form. It might just be that the season's a write off and they start again. But yeah, I think he's fine. I don't know what Tom
Too
thinks
much
though.
good credit in the bank. I don't think Tom's here.
No, I'm here. I'm
Oh.
here. It's just,
What game are we talking about again?
isn't it the West Ham Wolves?
I know. I was just joking. Go on.
Yeah. I don't know an awful lot about this game, how it's going to go. If I'm perfectly honest.
Right, we'll leave it there.
Good.
I'll save you from that embarrassment.
Thank you.
Move on to Sunday. The first game, as CB likes to call it, El Baldico. City versus United. United on a good run of form. Obviously lost their first 3 games, but they've won the last 4 in the league. I did try and look up when they last won 5 in the Premier League. I couldn't find that information, but I imagine it was. I mean, it could have been that year where they came second under Ollie, but if not, then it was probably a while ago. So they come into this on good form, and they've actually got quite a good result. Quite a good. They usually do quite well at City. Yeah, well, no, I couldn't think of the word. They've got a good record. Good record at the Etihad. Won 3 of the last 4 games there. So, yeah, I don't. Again, this is another one. Who knows what's going to happen?
I'll start off with this one, right? United lost to Brentford, scraped wins past Southampton and Leicester, but managed to easily beat Arsenal, and I would say quite easily beat Liverpool as well. So you'd think like, oh, they do quite well. They turn up against like the bigger teams, the top teams. I'm just gonna put it out there now. There's absolutely no chance United are gonna win this game. Absolutely no chance.
Just so we know, So when we finished recording on the last podcast, you had said something during the England game that we all brought up. This is obviously not in the recording, but I think it was something along the lines of you can't see England ever scoring, so that if they concede, you just go, oh yeah, they've lost the game. And then they came back and made it 3-2 against Germany. So I'd just like to snip that little. Can't see no chance of them winning at the Etihad. See if it's another case of that.
No. There's that's a little bit different. That's again a friendly between like England and Germany just turned off because again it's a nothing game for nothing. This is City gonna be winning the league, and there's no way Haaland doesn't score. That's like a fact. That's like a fact. It's like a given. It's like saying the sun's
But on
gonna
my
rise
notes,
tomorrow.
I've got how many goals
It's
did
gonna happen.
Haaland score?
Yeah,
Not
he's
will
gonna
he
score. Yeah, he's gonna score. Like that's the end of that. So
The only thing that I'm a bit sad that won't happen is I would like to see Haaland against Maguire.
I mean,
That-
I would
I'll
also.
have
I don't
Laugh
ever.
on Mike then. Sorry.
That's fine. I don't ever wish injury on someone, but like I really wish like 4 centre backs at United could get injured.
It's just So Haaland's definitely gonna score. That's like a given. So okay, United are in a bit of good form. Again, scraping 1-0 win against Southampton, scraping a 1-0 win against Leicester. Obviously, their game against Arsenal, they won quite convincingly, which is a bit of a shock.
I don't think they did though. Arsenal were quite good in that game.
Yeah, in
They
parts,
just got
but
caught on the sucker punch, didn't they? They got caught on the counter.
there's no way United win this game. Sorry. Well, actually, I'm not even sorry. I'm not even sorry. City are just too good. they'll run United off the pitch, and
I
then
know John Stones is injured. He got a knock late in the Germany game for England, but I'm not sure how much he's actually starting anyway.
no, it's see even something like that where like Stones would obviously for like Everton would be like, oh, it's giant,
Yeah,
oh no,
it's
we're
not
gonna
for
miss.
City, is it?
No, it's not for City. No, the
You got Laporte,
what
you got Diaz, you got Ake, who's probably a bit weaker than the others, but even you got Kyle Walker who can step in there as well. So
City will score early, and United will hold the ball for a little bit to try and like ease the pressure. Then City will score again, and then Bruno Fernandes will throw a fit and cry to the referee because someone touched him on the shoulder, and then City will score again. So I think 3-0 City will win.
fair enough. I don't think I'd like to go that direct, but yeah, I can't really see much more than a City win.
Again, no, I'm happy for this to be played back if I'm
Okay.
completely wrong.
That
But
can be a clip on the YouTube channel, like a short.
yeah, that's fine.
This
That's
is what
fine.
TikTok is for. We should make a TikTok.
I will
Play
never
play
make
that clip, and then we'll play like the Rashford hat trick next to it.
it.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
Sancho overhead kick.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not got the team news to hand, but I think was Rashford injured for the last game? No, he scored didn't he, against Arsenal.
Yeah,
I think
scored, yeah.
Rashford is key in this game. He always does well against City, and it's probably because of the style of play. Like City obviously like to counter, keep hold of the ball, push up the pitch. So obviously United can counter, and Rashford's obviously quite fast. So I think if he plays, it should be interesting. But like you said, I can't really see much more than a City win. But then I would say that about every game, and they're not sat on top of the league. So who knows what's going to happen? Moving on again. Another.
We haven't said anything yet.
Oh,
I
sorry.
was just
go on,
going to say,
sorry.
Tom.
You were
Tom's
very
just-
quiet, so I didn't know if you had anything to add.
No, I was just letting you guys talk. Like, no, it's remember it's Derby, so it's gonna be intense. It's not like the Merseyside Derby where that's just intense, but like you said, Fryer, Haaland will score, guaranteed. It's the question of how will he score? Will it be a tap in, or will it be just pick the ball up in the in the United half and just run past everybody and score? I'm looking forward to that. I think because it's a derby, I think Manchester United will up their game. I think they'll have a good game against them. I think it'll be a low scoring win for Man City, and I think United will come out a respectful game against them. Haaland wasn't there. I think United would even get a draw, but Haaland is guaranteed to score. City is guaranteed to get a goal. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just looking on Sky News then, and they're trying to like talk up. Obviously, this is one of like the biggest like games that they sell for Sky Sports and all the rest of it. Like I'm looking at some of the articles, and it's midfield battle between Gundogan and Ericsson. Like, what? How is that even a battle? Like, what is it? That's
Fred and Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I do love how Sky Sports like try and make a game sound so great for the people to watch it. I mean, people watch it anyway, but the way they try and to advertise the game as if it's so even, and it really isn't.
It's like Merseyside derby battle between Decore and Salah. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It just makes no sense. Also, this is the first. Actually, no. I don't know if it's the first one, but I just saw an article a second ago to say that this is a £1 billion game.
Oh yeah, I've seen that as well. The price of the squads.
£1 billion. Stop.
One team's won like 4 titles in the last 5 seasons. The other team hasn't. That's enough. Just before we move on, I was listening to the radio earlier, and someone phoned up and they were talking about, I can't remember who was playing, but there was 2 teams playing this weekend, and they've both been managed by Nigel Clough. So they said it would be a good idea when those teams play to have like, if you win, you know how when England play Scotland in rugby and they have the Calcutta Cup every time they play. So like every time these 2 teams play, you should have like the Nigel Clough Trophy, and the
that exists.
Wins.
No, I was listening to that. The Nigel Clough Trophy. Yeah, it is a real trophy. It's been there since 2000 or something. Since
right. Well,
Brian Clough has died, but when we were listening to, I was listening to it as well, and I always thought since that Brian Clough Trophy, they presented it on the pitch to the winner of Nottingham Forest or Derby, but actually Darren Bent said they just like come into the dressing room
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just
So the
give
person
the
who,
trophy.
the person, I don't know if it was someone who phoned in or Andy Goldstein said, they should do it on all derbies. So like, he said that
I
the
agree.
Spurs
Yeah.
Arsenal one should be the Sol Campbell Cup. So it should always be like someone who has links between the two teams. So like United City would be the Dennis Law Cup. Like what would Liverpool be like the Abel Xavier or the Nick
He
Farmby
said
Cup?
the Merseyside derby should be the Bill Shankly Cup because Everton would want this Bill Shankly Cup to annoy the Liverpool
Oh,
players,
right.
and the United and City game should be the Alex Ferguson Cup because City would want the Alex Ferguson Trophy to annoy the United players.
Yeah.
That was Andy Gold, but Andy Goldstein's just a cheeky
I was going to say that's a bit trolly,
guy,
He's
isn't
always
he?
trying to
Yeah,
cause trouble, isn't
he
he?
is trolly. He is trolly, but I do like the because I do like the idea of having the established derbies having a little bit of a trophy just to have a bit of fun. There was one guy. I don't know if you heard it, Fell, that when I was driving home at the time, and one guy phoned in and said he does like the Nottingham Forest Derby Cup. The Clough Cup. Um, Austin said, "If you draw, what happens?" And he said, "Oh yeah,
Penalties,
well,
wasn't
the
it?
win keep it." But he said, "Yeah, penalties is like this guy didn't know what to say." But I was thinking, why would you have penalties in a league game?
Ah,
And
do it.
even if it was like after the game, it's a draw.
Yeah,
No
1 point
players
each,
want to
but
do.
penalty each.
Who would want to do penalties afterwards? So
Exactly.
yeah, but I do like the little idea of having a cup for certain derbies that are established, well established, and have something to play for like that. I think Forest and Derby is a very unique derby where they had this manager who took two teams to the Division One title, and Derby got to the semi-finals of the Champions League or the European Cup back in the day, and then Forest, we know what happened with them. So I think it's just them that really have that unique derby compared to all the others, really, that they can have a cup.
So would the like the real Prestatyn derby have like a M&S Cup because M&S left Rill
Yeah.
to go to Prestatyn?
Same with the Ray Ryland Cup.
I went to when I was at the real Prestatyn game, the first one when Prestatyn were in the Premier League. The Prestatyn fans were singing, "Oh, you ain't got no M&S or Tesco," like in a Pink Floyd way. It was great. That chant was great. It's a brilliant game. That real went 7-1, like, but the banter was brilliant. The crowd was like two
Yeah, but they
thousand
couldn't
people
go
at
to
Bellevue that
M&S and
night.
get themselves some M&S crisps or anything after the game.
But
could they?
M&S takeaway food is the best, mate.
It is.
I go to Prestatyn all the time. I'm a real fan, but I go to Prestatyn for food, not for football. There we go.
Right. Swiftly moving on. Anyway, so the final game on the Sunday, 4:30, is Leeds versus Aston Villa. Is pressure still on Gerrard? Do you think?
I didn't think there was any, to be honest. It's just again managing their like their expectations. What's Villa's expectations really, other than to just again at the minute just sort of exist. Maybe the Conference League or like a really big push, but was he really brought in to try and take him up to there or what? I don't really know what he's doing there, to be honest, other than just try and keep him up.
I think I was reading on the Villa owners, and their aspirations are to be up there with the big boys within like 3 or 4 years.
Oh well, then yeah, there's definitely pressure on him then.
But like, I don't feel like they've spent the money required
Yeah,
to
you
do that.
buy Coutinho and gets you top four apparently.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, and they didn't even spend that much on him. Was he even 20 million? I can't even remember.
No, I think it was 15, wasn't it?
Oh, that's like pennies nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pennies. People can't afford to pay a gas bill, but 15 million is pennies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in football terms, it is, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I get this is one of those games that could go either way. Really depends, who turns up.
Yeah, I think Leeds have got the advantage being at home. I'm not really sure what to make of Leeds, to be honest. They're a bit up and
They lost to
down.
Brentford 5-2, didn't they? That was their last game. They couldn't beat us at home, which is quite bad, considering how. But again, I know I keep shitting on us a little bit, so for swearing. But
Us being Everton, isn't it?
Everton, sorry, yeah. They lost to Brighton, but beat Chelsea. So Leeds are all over the shop, aren't they? This could just be this could easily be a 0-0 game or like 5-4.
There's like 1 point splitting them in the table as well. So, but like Leeds, the last 6 games have won 2, drawn 2, lost 2. So who knows what is going to happen? Villa are on a bit of a upturn in form. They obviously got that result against City, and then they beat Southampton in their last game. So yeah, they'll hopefully, well, not hopefully, but they'll be looking to capitalise on that. Leeds are actually unbeaten in the last 4 home games against Villa, but obviously they haven't been in the same league that often. So the fourth game that they played was December 2017, so you can't really read too much into that. But I just, if I was betting on this game, I would not know what to bet on.
I think if I had to put money on, which I never do, I think I'd go Leeds because I think Harrison has been doing quite well for him at the minute. Like created a lot. I think I was looking at a stat the other day to say like he's created like 15 or 16 chances. I think, and that's like joint. I think it's like joint third. Only like Salah and De Bruyne have more or something like that. So he's like definitely created stuff for him. So
Yeah.
I think I'd give it to Leeds.
And Rodrigo is putting them away as well. I think the key factor is that it's at Leeds, isn't it? Like that crowd is a big difference for them.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add to this. To be honest, it's one of just those roll of dice in it, and whatever comes out, that's probably
Anything
what
to
the
add,
score's going
Tom?
to be.
Before we move on,
I have nothing to add. It's just one of those roll of dice games that
it's an
Just
echo
quote
in
me.
it.
Just
I'm
quote
just saying what Fryer said. Yeah, it's one of those games
Good
where
input, Tom. Good input.
You could do your one could be the magic 8 ball, Tom. You can shake it.
God, come on.
it's one of those. It's two
Think on your feet.
big
Again
big
later.
clubs. You just want them to be in the Premier League for the foreseeable future because they've been up and down. Aston Villa, Leeds. Leeds have been down for so long, but Aston
Is it
Villa as well
17
going down.
years, Leeds?
Yeah, it's just crazy that where they were from when they were in the semi-finals of the Champions League, and they just went all the way down and stayed there. And Aston Villa, you never thought they would go down, but they went down for, is it 2 seasons or 1?
Oh, I can't remember it. I think
but it's just
definitely
like,
more than
I
1.
think. Yeah, I think it was 2.
yeah. It's just one of those 2 teams you just want to be up there because they're so big. They got loads of fan base, and it's good for the Premier League to be in there.
Yeah. So it's always a good away day to go to, isn't it?
Yeah.
At Leeds.
But other than that, yeah, it's I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see, whatever.
Roll the dice.
Magic 8 ball.
Yeah.
Try
ball, yeah.
The final game of the weekend is on Monday night. Leicester against Forest. Leicester coming into this losing the last 6 games. Currently
Wow.
sat. Yeah. Currently sat. Are they on 0 points? I thought they got a draw.
I hope they're on 0 points. I can't wait for them to get relegated.
Let me have a look now.
Why is that? They're so cruel. I like Leicester.
No, I
Do
can't.
you like Leicester or do you like Brendan Rodgers?
I like Leicester because the journey I went on when he won the league, it's just like it was phenomenal. I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to be
But
fair.
that season was the best for me.
They're on 1
The only
point. I don't know
problem
why
is-
they're showing it as 0, but
And the only problem is with that run that they went on when they won the league is now all their fans seem to think that they're like a top 4 side when they're not.
well,
That's
true.
why
They
relegated.
bottled it twice, didn't they? Last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun on the internet to.
How much
retweet all
longer
these
can
things.
Rodgers last? Like I was adamant he'd have been gone after that Spurs game.
Shit, I thought it'd be gone by now.
Getting to the end of the
I
season,
think
he's doing a great job.
some people on this podcast think he has already been sacked.
Yeah, me and George thought he'd already gone.
Yeah. I mean, Forest are not faring much better. They're only 3 points ahead. They've lost their last 4. So, and I know there's been a few murmurings about Steve Cooper's job as well. Like, if this
That would be
continues till
silly, I think.
Christmas. Yeah, but if it continues till Christmas, like...
Yeah, but they're a
it's
newly
inevitable, isn't
promoted
it?
team. It's just, I
Spent
know
a lot
Fulham
of
are
money,
doing
though.
well.
Spent a lot
Yeah.
of money.
And football
Like,
is
if you think about it,
football
as
is money.
I know the owners like obviously can't imagine being in their shoes, but like if you think, oh well, I've spent nearly 200 million, why are we bottom?
I agree with you. But you know, again, what's their expectations? Just to stay up? Well, by the World Cup, you haven't really played enough to really say if you're going to stay up or not yet. So I think he's got a bit more time than you think, and I hope Brendan Rodgers stays till the end of the season. I think he'll do well in the Championship.
Well, there's not much to go on the head-to-head record. The last time they played each other was 2013. Leicester lost 2-0 against Forest then.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but bar that, I mean, you can't really read much into it. Bar that, the 4 games before that, they were unbeaten. But that goes back to 2010 when they were in League One, I think, actually. But yeah, I mean, what do we expect from this game
Forest win.
at Leicester?
Yeah,
Tom?
easy.
Yeah, judging by, I don't know what's going on at Leicester. Like, I don't know if Rodgers has just given up. He's just trying to
I
get
think
sacked.
he's a bit
I don't
fed
know.
up, isn't he? Like,
Fed up, yeah. There's
because
just
they didn't get any money.
just a bad feeling at
Do you
Leicester
think
at
you
the
just like
moment.
Leicester
And
because he was Liverpool manager prior?
no. I like Leicester because
Not you,
of what they
Fryer.
did. Hey,
No,
Fryer,
I'm
sorry.
not that bitter. No, it's their fans that have annoyed me because again, I used to like talking to Leicester fans because it was like
Similar sort of
we were in the
places.
same position, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they won the league like that freak season, which it was, and it instilled a bit of a dream in me that maybe we could one day go on that kind of run, which is fine. But then all their
It's
fans
football as
suddenly
well.
went like, yeah. But then all their fans suddenly went, oh yeah, we're like a Big Six team now. But no, you're not. Like, just stop.
Just have a bit
And
of
they
a
expected to win every game and
run
everything.
of
And it was
form,
just
weren't
like, yeah, it's like Vardy's gonna just play until he's 85 apparently.
you? He's
just,
signed a 2-year contract there, isn't he? How old is he now? I'm surprised they've signed a 2-year contract with him.
Feel
he's
like
okay,
he needs
isn't
to
He's
play until he's like he's
35.
95 till retirement age because his missus is just like
Yeah,
spending money
I was gonna say
against
that.
law. Yeah.
So he needs those court fees, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be brave and sit on the fence and say this is gonna be 1-1.
Oh, that's brave. Yeah,
Yeah.
Comfortable fence there.
it's
Yeah,
put your neck out there. Yeah.
Well, what was yours, Tom? At least I gave a prediction.
I'm gonna say Forest 3-0. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh, good lad, good lad. Forest win
Brendan,
easy.
Brendan Johnson hat trick. There we go.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yes, I've got it in my fantasy
He
team.
is so
Got my fantasy
greedy.
team.
He's so
He's
greedy.
well ace. He's
That's
like
what you need.
he's a,
That's what you need.
reminds me of a Messi when he was like 18. He knows like he was amazing.
What?
Brendan Johnson, and then like Nico Williams reminds me of Roberto Carlos. It's like great.
Let me just type this new title in the chat. Brennan Johnson is better than 18-year-old Lionel Messi. CB will prefer that.
Well, I mean, yeah, when he's done, baby time.
Well, yeah.
I can't wait for
but
that.
yeah,
It's gonna be so good.
That's the last game of the weekend. Do you want to go ahead with the FPL stuff, Ryan?
Yeah, it's only short. Cause
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want.
too bad.
A few predictions and
yeah,
what
all
you're
it
doing
is
for the
is-
week.
Yeah, well, my team's pretty much unchanged. So there's one thing I'm gonna start off with, and that's captain's picks.
Holland.
Go on. What was that, Tom?
Holland.
Brennan
How can you not
Haaland.
pick Holland?
Haaland, number one captain pick, 45% at the minute. Now the second one, I don't know if it's going to be a bit of a trap, because I've gone with it, but I've gone with Mohamed Salah, as my captain for this week.
Well, as you
I
said
knew-
before, he is. I don't know if he was top or second. You didn't specify, but he is creating chances.
I think he's. I don't know if he's top or second. It's one of the two,
Yeah,
but I think there's only like one chance difference between the two of them.
yeah. So it
so,
shows
yeah,
he is
that's what I
doing
mean.
it. It's just no
Yeah,
one's
he's
there
not.
to bloody put the ball in the back of the net.
Well, you say that he also misses sitters against Bournemouth when you win 9-0.
That's true.
So I
Not
don't any
bitter
bonus
at all.
points for this. No, not at all. Again, I think last week I captained Kane and it worked out. He got more points than Haaland. So this week I'm just expecting Salah to do a bit more than Haaland, so I've captained him a bit of a differential as well because most of the people around me will be captain Haaland, with sensibly. Now, interestingly, the third highest captained at the minute is Maddison,
Ooh.
which is a bit surprising to me, really, because again, I don't expect Leicester to do anything. To be honest, I've lost all faith in them, as you can probably tell. So yeah, and then after him is Kane. So most FPL people thinking Spurs are going to beat. Not necessarily beat them, but they'll think Kane will do more than Jesus, who's like all the way down in like 10th. So
As
yeah, so
Jesus,
Haaland.
what do we think of Jesus' start to the season? Because everyone was like predicting he would be up there with, well, maybe not
I
up
think
there
he's
with
been
Haaland,
brilliant.
but
Yeah, I think he's been brilliant.
how
It's
much he
just
scored? 4, 3.
yeah, it's just what he's doing off the ball. That's the thing that sort of Arsenal would kind of need a little bit up front, just someone to be a bit more creative, making runs and
Yeah,
creating space and things like that. And he's doing it, and he's beating, he's taking on players and things like that as well. And
I think the
um,
confidence he instills in the team as well, like just
yeah,
having that elite level player helps a lot.
yeah, definitely. I think he's doing well. But he's not an FPL sort of player at the minute. He's doing everything bar getting the assists and the goals that you'd expect. He's like he wins that ball back and then runs it at the pitch and then gives it to someone who gets the assist.
Yeah,
So and another differential is Kevin De Bruyne. Only 2% of people have captured De Bruyne, which is a bit surprising
he always
to
does
me.
well against United as well, so that could be
Yeah,
a shout.
and Son is only on 2% as well. That's probably because most people expected him to start on the bench. And again, it's a derby, so any could go either way. But
I
yeah,
think
safe bet.
they didn't.
Safe bet's gonna be Haaland,
I think
basically.
South Korea like played later than a lot of teams, so he could be risky. He could start on
Yeah,
the bench.
I was just gonna say that actually. I've got that in my note here. Yeah, he's most likely to start on the bench. So,
But then that
again,
doesn't stop him getting a hat trick.
yeah, that's what I mean. I still think he's starting because he's he's
But
an
then
absolute machine, isn't he?
1 week is Arsenal and 1 week is Leicester, so
Yeah. So safe bet is Haaland. Your differential is Salah and Madison or Kane. My team for this week, I've made no changes, so I'm happy with everyone I've got everywhere. So Captain Salah, Vice Haaland. I've got Kane, Johnson up front with Haaland, Martinelli, Bernardo, Salah, and then I've gone with Bailey in the middle instead of Saliba at the back. So I've gone three at the back with Trippier, Walker, Trent. I don't know why Trent's there. He's like the bane of my existence. I know as soon as I take him out,
please
he's going to
take him
score a
on.
hat trick.
Please
So,
take him on.
and
That's why Sam's got Salah still.
then I've got Ray at the back. So, yeah, there was only one other point I wanted to make, and that was expected points. Or sorry, it's expected goal involvement. Sorry, so Haaland's obviously sitting at top 7.2. Of course, he's going to be at top. Then it's Kane 5.4, Jesus 4.9, Mitrovic, and I think he's a good captain for this week.
Who's got the most points so far in FPL? Is it Haaland? Yeah.
Do you even need to ask?
Oh, I don't play it. Obviously, I just like, how much further is he than second place?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure, solely because I look at them on position. But let me just put it this way: Kane has 50 points so far, and Haaland has 73,
Right. Okay.
and that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's insane.
You got anything else to add, Tom?
Yeah, I'd taken Odegaard out and I put Son in. Hopefully Son starts that game against Arsenal, but still got Salah. But
We were talking about Odegaard before.
yeah, like I took Odegaard out because he was injured. It's like when I saw it 75% injured, I was like, I'm not risking it because guys said like it's a short. It's not necessarily 75%, but it's like I'm taking it out. Sod it, he's on my bench though. I've still got him in my squad. He's on my bench, but because he's got that little yellow symbol next to him, it's like, no, I'm taking him out. Oh, I've got Saliba, Trippier, Neco Williams because he's Welsh in
Obviously.
my
Brennan
back
Johnson,
three.
Kiefer Moore in midfield.
I've got Kiefer Moore up front, of course. Then Johnson up front, of course. Edison in goal, but I've got Salah, Son, Coutinho, and Gross in my midfield, and
Gross.
Haaland as captain. So Gross.
It's gross.
It's gross.
That pronunciation is gross. As
Probably
well
is
as his
gross,
name.
but I like to say gross. Yeah, so I'm quite confident because for some reason I've done well so far in fantasy football.
You say for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason, like I don't know how.
Triple captain. I've told you, you've used a triple captain already.
I used a triple captain in the first game.
What's the
I
table
thought
looking like now? Who
You've used a triple captain, and you're 1 point ahead of me, and I've still got mine.
are you top?
I used that in the first. I used it in my first week for Haaland.
Tom,
yeah.
Tom's on 4-3-8.
Where's Gio?
On 4-3. Well, I'm on 4-3-7.
Gio, I'm ahead of Gio. It's like nuts. You know, I'm first in the Wednesday footy league. I'm top. It's nuts.
So in the actually it's the Chunder League, isn't it? That's it. So
Chunder League, yeah, I'm second.
Well, no, you're joint top. So in the Chunder League, you're joint
Oh my
top.
god, I am
4-3-8.
Wow. Okay.
Then I'm third, 4-3-7. And then we've got Johnson in fifth, 4-3-2. We've got Falvey making a little bit of a comeback, although he had a bad week, 4-1-9. Bracegirdle's on 4-1-2. So Falvey's already overtaken Bracegirdle, so he's going to now quit fantasy football because I think he said he forgot to do his team as well, apparently, because it's you have a whole week to do it. So
Forgot, or he's just annoyed he can't have 11 United players.
Basically, and unfortunately for Sam, I think he might have quit as well already because he is sitting bottom at the minute, 3-3-1. So I'm already 100 points ahead
Quite
somehow.
far behind.
But yeah, so quick one for fantasy. Not much has changed. So after the internationals, not much has
finally
gone on. So, yeah.
But yeah, should we leave it there, boys?
Yeah, cool beans.
Yeah, it's been a nice little podcast. This
been
nice
little cozy one with just the three of us. Hopefully, have a full lineup back for the next one. But yeah,
we all go to bed together later.
Cut. Right. Yep. Thanks for listening. Cheers. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to subscribe or follow us on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, and Twitch at Halftime Team Talk. We also live stream these episodes on Twitch every Monday and Thursday, 8 PM UK time. You can also find us on Twitter at HalftimeTA2, so give us a follow.